So I'm talking quietly because I'm sitting here in my husband's truck. You can hear the hum of that engine, and Sylvie's sleeping. So I wanted to jump in and talk about an idea that I've had for some content that I want to put together around transitions, because this idea of getting prepared for our kid going to school or daycare or a big change in the family, perhaps moving home, and even ourselves, the big things that we're facing, whether it's am I ready for another baby, can I handle it all, you know, the unexpected nature of another baby arriving like Jules found this year. What things are we facing as mothers that we are finding ourselves sitting in resistance with, and what can we do to have some kind of toolkit around being more prepared for that change? And it's really come out of the questions that I've been asking myself around what do I need for me and what do I need to give my son in order for him to be as ready as he can to start school next year, because it's something that I've got my head around in the space of like a week. Oh yeah, we're doing school next year. And I see my feed on Facebook crowded with so many mums who are, you know, who've got their last day of kinder for their 4-year-old, and they notice themselves how much emotion's coming up for them around that letting go phase. And in fact, even myself, when I was talking through this change with Jules the other night before we were podcasting, I said, like, and I broke down in tears, the sweet spot for me was like, I don't feel like I'm ready to let go. And that was the resistance in me. It wasn't that my son's not ready, it wasn't that it wasn't the right decision. It was simply just there is some part of me that needs to be heard in order for us to move together for this next step as a family, and for him to be able to really come into himself and really, I guess, soar in that first year of school. So a lot of this stuff that comes up with our kids is really a mirror for the stuff that we are being called to look at in ourselves. And so what we want to put together is like a resource for everyone around this transitions that we find ourselves facing, and what we can do to help look at our own things and give ourselves some kinds of toolkits or resources to help deal with those transitions, and also what we can do to practically arm our kids for it, you know. And it can even be simple things like, you know, appropriate behaviour for different scenarios, and what we need to develop as perhaps a code word that we can have within our family when our kids are needing to release some big feelings and they don't feel safe enough, and so they're asking you perhaps to go somewhere with them so they can move those feelings. It can be, what do we need for ourselves and for our kids to make these transitions more smooth, more conscious, and grow with intention through it and find the fun. So I'd love to hear if you're at a transition point, whether perhaps maybe you're a mum with a younger baby and you're thinking about going back to work, but there's some discomfort there. Maybe something around that transition for you could be a big deal. Maybe it's starting daycare, or maybe it's, you know, going from kinder to school, maybe it's moving house. I'd love to hear what transitions are coming up for you as you reflect on the year ahead. I certainly think that this time of year is when we really look at what we want for our new year and what we want for ourselves in that new year. And so I'd love to hear in the comments, if anyone's on there or watching back, what are your transition points that you're sitting with? Maybe it's, you know, looking for clarity in your direction, or kind of letting go of who you thought you were to step more into your role, perhaps a mother, which is certainly where so many new mums find themselves, is that identity crisis that can come up when we attach our identity to something on the outside of us, perhaps our job, and then we find that we're really pulled into ourselves in the intensity of early mothering. So please have a little watch of this video. Let us know what your transition point is that's coming up for you, and what you'd love us to hash out a bit more for you and put together, because it's certainly something that we're all facing on some level, and I would love to put that together with some kind of collective wisdom for you all. So have a great Christmas Eve, and we'll see you soon.